Hey there. Hello. How do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It's February 1985. Yes, it's the middle of the month. It's a Thursday. I'm at Vino Veritas. And the boss, Stephen, comes up to me and he says, Harry, tomorrow I'm going to be busy most of the day and I'm not going to be able to get in here until the late afternoon. So I need you to open up the store. Here, I got the keys for you. Here they are. This is the key to the front door, and this is the key to the electric gate. All right, all you got to do, and I'm like, oh, I was very excited about this. He says, yeah, all you got to do is show up 9:45 or something like that. Just turn everything on, everything so it's up and ready to go by 10 o'clock. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's easy. I'll be in later on. I'm like, all right, thank you. So I was very excited to do this. I wanted to do it up right. So that night when I left the Winter Garden, from selling cats, full color show programs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, record cassettes, books, and buttons, I went straight home. I went to bed as soon as I could, around 1 o'clock in the morning. I got up early in the morning and I got on the bus on time and I got over to the other side, the Upper East Side, by around 9:30. I'm walking down 3rd Avenue there and I passed the Kang Deli. And Lady Kang herself is in there behind the counter, I can see. And she's so beautiful. I always sort of crush on her. And she's so sweet and friendly. She's this fantastic spirit. You can tell. She's a very positive aura. I love her. So I go in there and I get my cup of coffee. And I usually get it black. But today I have a plan. So I get it with milk, no sugar. So I'm getting my coffee and she says, lovely sunny day. And I said, oh, yes, isn't it though? It was. It was a lovely sunny day in Manhattan. It was a temperate 50 degrees. It was mild for a February day. I love these Manhattan winters. Lovely sunny day, she says. I said, yes, isn't it fantastic? She says, just like spring. I says, yes, it's wonderful. She says, yes, isn't it? I said, well, you have a good day. She says, yes, you too. And that was the extent of our conversation as I walked away. I know. I'm too frightened to let her know that I'm crushing on her, so I want to keep it brief. So I'm walking down 3rd Avenue, and there's my favorite homeless guy, Kaspar Hauser. He's standing there in his ragged clothing, and he's being yelled at by a little old lady who is lecturing him like he's a naughty little doggy. No, 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 she said. You're a very bad man. You shouldn't do that. No, no, no. And I'm walking by, and he just stands there looking pathetic. And she sees me and she says, do you see what he does? He takes the paper money and he rips it into shreds and he throws it down the sewer. No, 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 she said. And I'm like, huh? I beg your pardon? She says, if you give him the change, he keeps it. But the paper money, he tears into shreds and he throws it in the sewer. I just saw him do it. No, 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 she said. And I'm like, great. How much folding money have I given to Kaspar Hauser in the last few months? Probably 11 or so dollars, 10 or 11 bucks. I'm like, well, I gave him some random change too. That's something. Anyhow, I got to get back to work. I got to get to work. I said, well, let that be a lesson to us, I said. And off I went. I'm walking down and I pass the Salty Dog bar. Yes, I can't walk past the Salty Dog without thinking about Dancing with Margie. Yes. And so next stop, Vino Veritas, Wines and Spirits. Yes, I get out my keys and I open up the revolving gate, the electric gate, jugga, 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 jugga. And I go in the front door, turn on the lights, turn on the radio. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by the Eurythmics is playing. Jeepers, I say. That was one of the songs that played when I danced with Margie. Margie, where are you? Anyhow, I told you I had a plan when I got my coffee with milk, no sugar. Yes, well, we have a whole bunch of a display on the counter of little airplane bottles, little bottles of booze, 1 ounce each. We've got all flavors: gin, vermouth, bourbon, uh, rum, scotch, vodka, everything, and liqueurs. We got the coconut, we got the almond, we got the amaretto, we got the hazelnut, we got all sorts of liqueurs. It's a wonderland of flavors. So my plan is to take one of these and put it and have a fancy alcoholic coffee beverage instead of just a cup of coffee, or instead of just a cup of coffee with booze dumped in it. A little milk in there or cream makes it a fancy beverage. So I pick out the frangelico, the hazelnut liqueur, dump it in my coffee, glunk, 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 and I toss the thing in the can. Plunk, plunk. Then I have a smoke, I have a cigarette there, and I enjoy my fancy alcoholic coffee beverage while I stand and enjoy being the proprietor of this establishment here. Welcome to my little empire of liquor. And it's a beautiful day and the sun is streaming in. And I'm like, well, I wonder who's on staff today. And I looked at the clock. It's 9:59. Well, Donald walks in the door right then. Aha, hurrah, a punctual employee. Yeah, I told him that Stephen's going to be in later on, sometime in the afternoon. I don't know. I knew that Michael may or may not be showing up to smuggle some contraband. I mean, to move some boxes of liquor across the state line to Stephen's garage in Jersey. Yes. And Francine and Eduardo, I don't know when they're going to show up. Right. And so Donald just went out and swept in front of the store without anybody saying anything. Fantastic. All right. So then there was a delivery. There was a liquor delivery a little while later on. It was several boxes, 8 or 9 or 10 boxes of booze. And so I spent the next hour or so putting those in order, putting those away, taking some down to the basement, putting some in some of the displays in the showroom and the racks and the stacks, and just making it nice. Right. And Michael showed up, and I went and helped him load a dozen or so cases into Margie's station wagon, and then he blanketed them, yes, and then poof, he was gone. And so I was finishing up, straightening up the rest of the store, the showroom, and everything like that. Yes, it was a quiet day at Vino Veritas. Customers came in a slow drip, not even a slow trickle, a slow drip. One of our regular customers, Redcap, you remember Redcap, came in and ordered himself, as usual, half pint Cossack. He liked the half pint of Cossack vodka for $2.15. He always had exact change. And he put it down and got his bottle. Donald bagged it up for him. And Donald said, all right, there you go. Thank you. Have a good day. And Redcap said, my gesang yummy. Ah! And Donald said, you too. Redcap turned around and walked towards the door, opened it, bumped into it on the way out. He says, Nubbis! Angrily at the door, and he bumbled his way out and down the sidewalk, and he was gone. Nothing was happening. There were very few customers and no delivery orders at all. Here Comes the Rain Again by the Eurythmics came on the radio. Hey, another Eurythmics song. That Annie Lennox hypnotizes me. And suddenly, without warning, Gregory blows into the front door like a storm squall. Look at this place. Just look at this place, he said. Donald and I have no idea what's going on. We are both completely surprised by this. He says, Harry, look at what's going on around here. I can't be away for 5 minutes and the place is all gone to hell. Get all these displays in order. Come on. And I said, hey. And then he turned to Donald and said, hey, what's your name? Donald said, I'm Donald. He said, Donald, don't you ever sweep this place? Now, here's the thing. My little liquor emporium was in perfect shape. I had swept it and cleaned it and dusted all the bottles. All the displays were in order. Everything was fine. It looked beautiful. I was kind of offended at what a jerk he was being. I know. So then he says, do I have to do everything around this place? And he stomped off back to the back office. And Donald and I look at each other and I'm like, what the hell? Well, he's back, apparently. Nobody ever tells me anything. I'm like, come on, Steven, just let me know something that's going on around here every now and then. Nobody ever tells us anything. Anyhow, Gregory stomps back. He's got an envelope in his hand. He says, Harry, Stephen wanted you to make the bank deposit today. And I was immediately daunted. I had never made the bank deposit before. And I said, I've never made the bank deposit before. And he said, you ass bucket, you just go up to Citibank here and give them the envelope. It's as simple as that. And he had this thick envelope and he shoved it in my hand. And I looked at it. It was thick with 50s and 20s. And I'm like, and then he yanked it out of my hand again. And then he actually stuffed it down in my back pants pocket. And he shoved it down in there. He says, all right, you go up to Citibank. You give that to the teller. You tell her you're from Vino Veritas, and she'll do the rest. The deposit slip and everything is in there. And I'm like, all right. And the phone rang. Donald got it. Gregory and I are just standing there while he's on the phone. And he says, yes, 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 And he's writing stuff down as he's saying, yes, 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 Then he hangs up the phone. He turns to me. He says, yep, that's a delivery. And I'm like, great. He goes, it's from a Dr. Spurlock. And I said, oh, no, the evil Dr. Spurlock who never tips. I said, oh, I can even tell you what the order is. And he says, what do you mean? I said, it's a case of white. It's 3 cases, right? He says, well, yeah. I said, it's a case of white, a case of red, and a case of mixed booze, right? And he's like, yeah. I said, he does that every time. And I take it all the way over to Fifth Avenue, and he never tips. I hate that guy. I'm immediately annoyed. And Gregory says, well, damn it, I do have to do everything around here. Harry, give me that envelope of money. So I reached into my back pocket and pulled it out. And then I handed the money in the envelope, the bulging envelope. I handed it to Gregory, and he took it. He says, all right, I'll make the damn deposit. I'll make the damn bank deposit. You make the damn delivery. I'll be right back. Now, you guys get this place cleaned up or I have some ass kicking to do. And he stormed out of the front door, and poof, he was gone. Donald and I looked at each other. I said, well, he's back all right. Anyhow, I got the delivery. I got the 3 cases together for the evil Dr. Spurlock, and I put it, a case of white, a case of red, and a case of mixed booze. And then I put it on the cart. I turned to Donald. I said, back in a flash. And I took off over to Fifth Avenue, negotiating my way through the crowds and the streets and the potholes and the puddles. And when I got there, the same thing happened, as always happens when I go there. Buzz the buzzer. It's a long wait. The nefarious maid eventually shows up. You take the liquor down the stairs, bump, bump, bump into the cellar and stack it nicely. And then you get stiffed for the tip. And the thing is, the maid was always so snooty with me. I mean, we are both under the thumb of the rich. Should we not be allies? Well, apparently now. Anyhow, I get back to the store, and Donald is wiping the counter with some Windex or something like that. He says, I was just cleaning the place till he gets back. And I'm like, what a jerk. This place looks beautiful. So, a little old lady came into the store and wanted to buy a bottle of Unicum. Unicum is a bitter Hungarian aperitif. All right, now I have to digress for a brief nostalgic flashback here. One bright day, months and months ago, at Vino Veritas, when Francine and Gregory and Michael and I were all there hanging around one day, a customer came in and bought a bottle of Unicum, this bitter Hungarian aperitif that we had only heard about, and off he went, and we're like, what is this Unicum? What is it like? Well, we have that little rack of airplane-sized bottles. Well, we happen to have some Unicum there, a little tiny bottle of Unicum. So Gregory got out 4 plastic cups and lined them up, and then he opened the bottle and put out 4 even servings, just a little bit. It's only a little bottle. And we all got our plastic cups and we all toasted each other and we all drank at the same time. Glunk, 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 and we all went, Pwah! And then we all burst out laughing. Yes. Oh. And we eventually stopped laughing. Oh, it's just so horrible. We agreed that it tasted rather like burnt bicycle tires mixed with kerosene. Yes. And we did have a good laugh about that one. But now we know what Unicum tastes like. Those were glory days, and we didn't even know it. Well, anyhow, back at the store, nothing is happening. It's about 2 hours since Gregory left, and he's not back yet. I'm beginning to think that I made a horrible mistake. Drip, 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 go the minutes. Drip, drip, come the customers. It's a slow day, and it's a long day, made longer by the fact that we're waiting. So you know what happens, don't you? Well, I'll have to tell you about that next time. Ha 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 ha! So please like, subscribe to this. Just click on the little button, share it out to somebody and make a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Right. So thank you for coming on this journey with me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you next time.